Hi, my name's Elaine. I'm from Scotland. I'm 54 years old and I have MRKH type 2. The first time I had to broach the subject to MRKH with anyone was with my parents. I'd just been into hospital for a laparoscopy examination to find out why I hadn't started my period. They had originally tried to get in internally but couldn't, so I'd had to go in under a general anaesthetic. So I needed my mum and dad to come and pick me up. So that day they picked me up and I jumped in the car and they both asked me at the same time what the surgeon had found out. And I explained to them quite clinically because I was 17 and I was quite matter of fact what he'd said to me. So I just relayed it to them the way it had been relayed to me. And I said, oh, I've got fallopian tubes and I've got ovaries and they're producing eggs, but I don't have a uterus, and the inside of the vagina is just the size of a dimple, so they're going to either skin graft a vagina for me, or I can try dilation, which means that I'll make it myself through using these dilators. And my dad just blew up. He was so disbelieving and he was very angry. My mum, she started crying and I couldn't understand, because I still felt like the same person that went in, but suddenly there seemed to be something really wrong with me, and I felt well, I felt normal. So when we got home, I asked him why he was so angry about it. What was it that upset him so much? And he then explained to me that I had been getting lots of investigative procedures since I was a baby. I had kidney problems, I had bladder problems, and I'd had several catheters inserted, I'd had lots of operations and things, and nobody had ever noticed anything. And he thought that that would have been the first thing they would have noticed. So he found it quite hard to believe that after all this time, them investigating things, they had never ever found out I had MRKH. And at the time, I didn't even have a name for it. I just knew that that was what was wrong with me. So when it came to telling my friends, my mum and dad, they were really understanding. They asked if I had any questions, but of course there was no internet then, so my mum and dad couldn't answer much for me. Like all the questions that I had, there was no one to ask. I felt very alone because there was no one to talk to. So I did talk to my friends. Mum and dad made sure that I decided to dilate, so mum and dad decided to put a lock on my door, and they kept my brother and sister away after tea time, which was when I would go up at night, and I would go up in the morning and I would dilate, and it got quite tedious, so I decided to try sex. I spoke to my friend. She lived next door. She was also my best friend at school, and I explained to her exactly what was going on, and she says, oh, so you need to use like a vibrator type thing to. She says, you're so lucky, and you can't get pregnant, and you've got to have sex as much as you possibly can, and that was her attitude. She was quite amazed by it. She thought it was great. Other friends that I told, some of them said were sorry that I couldn't have children, but nobody actually knows what it feels like inside. How I mean, everybody that has MRKH will know what I'm talking about. You can talk to other people, but they just don't get how hard it is to take everything in. It hits you at different times in your life, all through life. But you always worry how people are going to perceive you. Like, why, when I was younger, not having a vaginal opening is what I told people. I told people it's like a partial hysterectomy, whereby it was like it was tied at the end and there was no uterus there and I couldn't have children, and that was understandable for people. They could take that on board, which was quite a good thing, because it was in terms that they could understand. It wasn't clinical. With the internet nowadays, you can go on and look it up, and it's got all this stuff about it, and the main thing that jumps out at people is no vagina. And the first thing they jump on is like, oh, what do you look like? Well, I just said to people that it was the internal vagina that was missing and everything else was normal. So it was easier to explain. So when I got potential partners, I explained it like that, and I explained to them that I have used dilators or have a lot of sex in order to keep it open and active, and they were only too happy to oblige. I've never had a man, well, apart from one man, and that was because I couldn't have children, and he wanted a big family, and he was looking to settle down. I wasn't. And I got quite angry when I first found out. The first few months, I went out after I had dilated to about 3.5 inches, I think it was about. I went out to nightclubs with my friends, and I'd go out with guys, and I would get them aroused, and I would check out how big they were. And if they were too big, I just went away. I disappeared discreetly to the toilet. I never came back. And that's what I did. I did that for a good few months. It was quite abusive to myself. But it was the way I got through it. And I did have sex. Nobody noticed anything different. Guys were happy to help me make my vagina inside to stretch it. But there was nobody that was negative towards me, and I think it's because I'm quite confident. If you're quite confident about your condition and you're not afraid of it, and you speak clearly and answer any questions people have got, they're more curious, and they've never heard of it. So I've really not had a problem with explaining to anybody. But I can understand now with the internet that it does open up a whole new ball game for people reading up on it, because I think a lot of the information can be mistaken for other things. People look into it too far. But yeah, I've never had a negative experience that I would say when I went home and I cried. I cried for myself quite a lot. I cried for what I couldn't have, and I cried for the fact that I had to tell somebody every time, and I felt like I had to be open. I had to tell them immediately. I always told them within the first hour, so that if they wanted to leave, they could leave. That was their get out then. Like, if they wanted children or they didn't want to go any further with me because of that, then they could leave then. I wasn't building a relationship on false hopes or anything like that. They knew exactly what they were getting, and they were getting me, just as I was. And you've got to learn to love yourself first. You've got to accept what's wrong with you and love yourself first, and that's quite a long journey. I think all of us go through that journey, and at different times we feel different things. But yeah, that's what I did to broach it. I was open, I was honest, and I was confident. And I think that helped quite a lot. So I hope you get something from this. I don't know if you will, but it was my way forward. Everybody handles things differently. If you've got someone to talk to, that's great. Do that. I think the girls on the site are the best to speak to, because everybody is feeling the same sort of emotions at some point in their life. So there is always someone to help you. But, that's all for now. Thanks. Bye.